Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's June 1st, 2017. The big news: Donald Trump withdrawing from the Paris Accord, the climate agreement reached October 5th, 2016. We're going to talk about why 239 days later, Donald Trump is withdrawing. Keep in mind, this is the man born on Flag Day, where the U.S. flag was sewn at the address 239 Arch Street, and the flag's currently 239 years old. If you've seen the mainstream news coverage of this story today, everyone's saying the same thing. This is a signal that the United States of America is no longer a leader in the world. And all of this is symbolic. Donald Trump is a New World Order puppet delivering this nation deeper into hell. That's all he is, and all of you who voted for him are the minions of Satan. In fact, all of you who vote in every election are the minions of Satan, because if you weren't, you'd see that you live in hell, and supporting any of these frauds, any of these puppets, is absolute lunacy. All you do is validate a horrible lie, and so many of you are so caught up in these horrible lies. That's why I make these videos. So we'll get to that. Also, we're going to talk about why James Comey and the ongoing puppet show that this all is going to testify against Donald Trump on June 8th in regards to the firing, which is all part of the puppet show. Understand, if you saw it on the TV, if you read it in the paper, if you read it in a major magazine, it's all theater, it's all bullshit, it's all distraction. Understand, if you're bummed today about Donald Trump withdrawing from this Paris Accord, you're bummed over nothing. This is all New World Order agenda, and it is all about helping pass the torch of America, Team America, World Police being seen as the leader of this world to more of a one world government, which we truly already have. Also, we'll talk about the breaking news out of the Philippines, the thriller in Manila. This comes, if you don't know what's going on, supposedly there's a terrorist attack at a hotel. It comes on the 1-year anniversary nearly of the death of Muhammad Ali, which was a ritual last year for the NBA Finals. Muhammad Ali becoming boxing champion the same time the city of Cleveland had last won a pro sports championship, 1964. Muhammad Ali dying at age 74, as I said he would, in 2014. So we'll get to this story out of the Philippines, more New World Order theater. The Philippines, just like pretty much every other nation in this world, New World Order leadership. Also, this morning, I talked about how all NBA season there's been a riddle with Chicago, Golden State, and Cleveland, and fires. All year I've been talking about this. Game 1 of the World Series, the opening day of the basketball season, December 2nd, 2016, when there was the Oakland warehouse fire, the recent Atlanta fire, where the Cavs were playing the Bulls, just like they were the night of the Oakland fire months earlier. All of this stuff is intentional. The fire in Oakland was on purpose. The fire in Atlanta at the freeway was on purpose. That was blamed on a homeless person smoking crack. I mean, how does that burn down a freeway? Come on, people. All of this stuff is ritual. Today's fire set at the furniture store in Chicago, the Zionist Mecca, no doubt Jewish lightning, collecting some more paper dollars for their ritual madness. So we'll talk about that. You know, just this morning I was talking about Chicago and fires and Golden State and the Cavs and the first game of the NBA Finals, and then this news happened a few hours after I said that. You know, does that not further validate what I'm talking about? Just to be clear, this news story hadn't broke when I was talking about this morning. This news is since. And people are asking about Stephen A. Smith, who I already covered. I'm going to share with you guys one more thing about his mother's reported death just before the start of the NBA Finals. But let's start here with the Paris Accord. So, Trump set to withdraw from Paris Accord. Let's remember what's important about Paris, France, where once upon a time a 33rd degree Freemason traveled from that red, white, and blue nation and designed Washington, D.C., named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. Now, if you're new to gematria, I teach it all the time. I've shown these calculations a million times before. I'm going to link this Gematrinator calculator, but if you get on here and start typing away, you'll see how Washington, D.C. is 187, George Washington's 187, Paris, France is 187, Adolf Hitler's 187. Let's not forget he released his book Mein Kampf on July 18th, 18/7. And let's not forget that Donald Trump this year had his GOP convention on July 18th, 18/7, exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day. Donald Trump's a member of the Society of Jesus, which is the Jesuit order. In the Catholic Church, Washington, D.C. used to be the Catholic colony. Now it's between Maryland and Virginia, Virgin Mary. You see? Donald Trump and the Pope are both Jesuits. Their birthdays are 187 days apart. Trump just met with the Pope on the 144th day of the year, Jesuit Order 144. But, most important, ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Gematria of 187, and their headquarters are in Washington, D.C., which is 187, which is named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. So, understanding this number is big and boss and Masonic, understand we have Donald Trump withdrawing from the Paris Accord. This is all Masonic ritual. This is all New World Order. Now notice it was October 5th, 2016 that it was ratified with 147 parties. Again, another number we talk about all the time. The White House has 147 windows on it, and not arbitrarily. President of the United States, 147. U.S. President, 147. Freemasonry, 147. Conspiracy, 147. 50 states, 147. America equals 50. 4th of July, 147. Think about in France, Paris, their Independence Day, Bastille Day, is on July 14th. 14/7, a lot like 147. This number connects to so many Masonic things. We just saw James Comey fired on his 147th day of being 56 years old. Washington, D.C., 56. President, Gematria 56, Society of Jesus, Gematria 56. A lot of these things up here also have the Gematria 56. Right after that, we saw Henry Kissinger come and meet with Trump, who's born on the 147th day of the year. He was born 147 years after the establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati, which was May 1st, 1776. Show you something about Scottish Rite Freemasonry and the Bavarian Illuminati, which is credited with the French Revolution. Notice the 127 for Bavarian Illuminati. Notice Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Big in France and the U.S., you see? Overlap. Scottish Rite Freemasonry is clearly the Bavarian Illuminati. Did a lot of work on the Bavarian Illuminati the whole time I've been here, plus most recently with the WannaCry virus. If you missed that work, check out the WannaCry virus and the Bavarian Illuminati. All their symbolism. But anyhow, from the date of these accords, October 5th, 2016, them being ratified, to today, Donald Trump backing out, is 239 days later. Now notice, 239 is the 52nd prime number. The word president has Gematria 52. Same with White House, same with government, same with authority. On September 23rd, which is New Year's Day on the French Republican calendar, on New Year's Day, September 23rd, the Pope met with the President at the White House, Obama. September 23rd is the 266th day of the year. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. And notice the word Pope is also 52. I mean, there couldn't be any more perfect date for the Pope, who's a Jesuit, to meet in Washington, D.C. And just one more time, the Society of Jesus 187, just like all these other things, you know. See my work on the Pope doing his hidden hand Masonic pose? The Jesuits are the Freemasons within the Catholic Church. So again, with regards to this being 239 days later, special number to this nation, America, where the flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street in the original capital, Philadelphia, named from the Bible, Donald Trump has the same birthday as the flag. The flag will turn 240 years old this June 14th, the same day Trump turned 71. That means right now the flag is 239. You see? And we got Donald Trump, the perfect puppet stooge for this action. And remember, they're calling Donald Trump the first Jewish president because all of his children have married into Jewish families. 239, very relevant to the Jewish faith, and this gematria, a Jewish practice, coming from Kabbalah, the belief that God created the world with language when God merged the letter with the number. Torah, 239. Jewish world order is the new world order. Masonry, based in the Old Testament and Jewish history. You see? In France, it's illegal to speak out against Judaism, against Zionism. In fact, it comes with a prison sentence. So that's what we still have going for us in America. We're not quite as bad as France yet. But just watch, in probably 10, 20 years' time, doing what I'm doing now will be entirely illegal. So, that covers the first part of the puppet show in today's news. Every day is a puppet show. You learn this language, you can see through the news every single day. Because every day, it's just this scripted. So now here's my favorite, James Comey versus the Comb-Over. The perfect actor name. He's going to testify June 8th. June 8th. And notice, Donald John Trump equals 68. The Apprentice, 68. Donald John Trump was The Apprentice, known for You're Fired. This testimony is coming over his firing by Trump. If you have not seen the preview on TV for the new movie coming out, Despicable Me 3, the advertisement begins with a woman with a huge nose yelling, "You're fired." And she's a bleach blonde, kind of like, I can't even think of what that woman's name is. The woman that they put on TV that's become part of the Trump administration that they show all the time. Anyway, the character in Despicable Me 3 almost looks like that woman. But it's not a coincidence that they're putting that ad in front of us. You're fired. All of this coding, June 8th, Comey testifying against Trump, as I've been explaining, for more than a year. If Trump is to be the president, which he now is, I've been telling everyone, it will not last a year. Definitely not his whole first term. This is all a planned agenda, about dismantling this nation and the mentality of the people of this nation. It's all about psychology and controlling the mind's eye of the masses. And let's not forget that the day Trump fired Comey was on the anniversary of the impeachment hearings beginning for Richard Nixon, which was May 9th, 1974. Richard Nixon equals 74, like Masonic. Big number in D.C. as well. George Washington, 74. Richard Nixon, 74. Impeached in 74. Again, Masonic, 74. This number has to do with sacrifice, cross, 74. Jesus, 74. Jesus Christ, 74. Messiah, 74. Gospel, 74. As I taught about this morning, in the Bible, there are 74 mentions of the crucifixion and the stake, which Jesus was put on. 74. 74. The Bible is all numbers because the Freemasons have their hands all over it. And whoever it was before, this is ancient Jewish practice, Freemasonry, Judaism for the Gentiles. So you could say the Jews have their hands all over it. Or the false Jews, to be more appropriate. Anyway, 74, that was 43 years ago. I said it earlier this year when the whole wiretap thing began on the date with 43 numerology. I said this is all a tribute to Richard Nixon and a sign that Trump won't make it. Wiretap 43, just like Richard. And on the 43-year anniversary, all of this staged theatrics. It was staged back then with Nixon. It's staged today. It's always been staged. That's the point to take away. Also, this testimony will come 139 days after Trump took office. Freemasonry, 139. Again, shouldn't have to explain it again. George Washington, 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. headquarters of the federal government as well, DC, as well as Scottish Rite Freemasonry, Federal 33, 33 pillars on the outside of the Scottish Rite temple in the middle of DC. With regards to Freemasonry, it also sums to 58. Trump, the winner of the 58th presidential election, hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. He announced he was running from his 58-story Trump Tower. Will it all come to end in June, which has the gematria 58? Just like Gregorian, the calendar we're on, just like the word calendar. Again, Freemasonry within the Catholic Church is what created the calendar. Look at the name Pope Francis. Nice little 58. And again, not coincidental. Jesuit Pope, Jesuit President, President winner of the 58th presidential election. The nation where Christopher Columbus, paid for by the Catholic Church, the CC, discovered the Americas. And I just remembered one more, 147, Americas, where we began. So, I've been saying to look out for the date June 3rd. I'm still saying look out for that date. But now that I see that this is going to happen on June 8th, I've also been saying June 30th could actually be the date, which counts in the same thing as numbers as June 3rd. I think by June 30th, we might very well have Mike Pence as the new president. You're fired 63, Wall Street 63, the Wall, Berlin Wall. Donald Trump announced as the 45th president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. One more time. President Trump, in the time of the hit show House of Cards, which foreshadows the news, Trump card, House of Cards, analogy for a market, a collapse of an economy, where we call it Wall Street, Berlin Wall 45. Donald Trump, the 45th. Donald Trump also 48 like Wall, So I just want to show a second preview. Watch this. This is just how it begins. If you have TV, there's a shorter version of this, but it begins the same way with the "you're fired" thing. Watch this. An illumination, Illuminati.
Agent Drew, you're fired! If you fire him...
I mean, You're Fired. This movie comes out June 30th, 6/3. You're Fired 63. Zionist Jews running your whole show, putting the whole truth in front of you. Even when they don't have their Jewish actors up there, they make sure to make their cartoon characters have extra long noses. That's the thing I appreciate about these people. They tell the truth about themselves. They give you the movie Pinocchio and about the liars with the long noses. They give you the Bible where it says the false Jews will rule in the end times. And do you know why they do it? As to just show their superiority. You have to know what their religion's about. That they're superior and that everybody else is a lesser. Too stupid to even manage their own selves. And what makes me sick is it seems like it's all true. It seems like the people who rule over us, this sick filth, are 100% on point about the masses. They know how fucking retarded and worthless they are, and they know that they can just get away with all this. Give you bullshit, obvious mocking news in your face every day, and just steer you around like a little dumb fucker, Sorry, there's no nicer way to put it. There's no nicer way to put it. That is the best way to describe this nation of fucking losers. And I know what fucking losers they are. Because I've been speaking out since 9/11. I don't know how anyone couldn't see through 9/11. 2 buildings come down in perfect demolition. And in 20 minutes, they're telling you a man in a cave in Afghanistan did it. I mean, how fucking retarded do you gotta be? They told you they couldn't find the planes, but they found paper passports, and you didn't blink an eye. Because you're dumb little fuckers, And if that offends you, then stop being one. Pull your head out of your ass. Look at what's going on. Look at all the Jewish names all over the screen. Go read the Talmud and what's in it. It says if you're not Jewish, you're a fucking loser. The point of your existence is to be a slave. To be pacified with little trinkets. Doesn't that sound like America? Anyhow, with regards to the market, which is controlled by the same Jewish Zionist tyrannical monsters, Wall Street, also 63 like you're fired. Think about how the market collapsed Black Friday in the past. Could happen again. Could happen again. So anyway, about this thing in Manila. This is no doubt all bullshit and truly a tribute to the NBA Finals, just like how the murder of LeBron, or not LeBron James, someday it'll be him too, but Muhammad Ali, a ritual for LeBron James and the city of Cleveland winning the championship last year. Thrilla in Manila sums to 165 like Cleveland, like Scottish rites. Again, they control your world of news, your politics, your sports. They control the whole thing. From the president's birthday, Duterte, who's been in the headlines for declaring martial law on the Muslims and joking about raping the women in the Muslim sections. From his birthday, March 28th, to today's news is a span of 66 days. This terror hoax on the same day as the NBA Finals. Remember, LeBron and LeBron James equals 66. Also, this man's name, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, gematria of 213, just like the NBA Finals. 96 like Freemason, 42 like LeBron James. A lot of relevant numbers here. A lot of numbers that connect to Masonry and the sports championship that will happen today. And if this sounds stupid to you, well, it sort of is stupid. The New World Order, the way they do things, it's fucking retarded once you see it. But like I showed last year, the NBA Finals synced up with the presidential election in the US, synced up with Brexit in the UK, plus a whole lot more things. This is how the New World Order operates. They give you a fake show, fake news, rigged sports, rigged elections, and they just run it all together. You know? A system. The Kabbalah Code. This news also comes on the day that leaves 213 days left in the year, connecting again to the name of the president of the nation, the puppet, the Philippines version of Trump. Isn't it amazing how they just make everything across the world just more ridiculous with time? All these leaders are just more ridiculous. People don't wake up. But anyway, that's what that is. It's just a ritual for the NBA Finals. What else I thought was funny, though, is when they put up this headline, I just decided to turn on the TV to see if they're showing anything, and they showed a group of guys with masks on and guns. And I was like, they're showing on TV a group of men with masks and guns, but they're saying just masked gunmen, like singular here. I don't know if that was a typo or if they were going for the gematria encoding, but masked gunmen also happens to sum to 42 and 66, just like the numbers that connect with LeBron James. And again, I'll just put it up here so you can see. LeBron 66, when you write out LeBron James 42 and 66. And remember, it's all biblical. The New Testament, 42, begins with the 42 generations to Jesus, ends with the 66th book, Revelation. Everything is a riddle with the Bible because this is all Kabbalah code, and Kabbalah is all based on the Bible. Kabbalah contends that the Bible time has never ended. We're still living it out. That's why we get these Bible rituals. So anyhow, Chicago Fire, first day of the NBA Finals, reminds me of the December 2nd one in Oakland at the warehouse. That was 181 days ago. Again, 181, the 42nd prime number. Think about Oscar Robertson, 181 triple-doubles. This year, his single-season record was broken by Russell Westbrook getting 42. Oscar Robertson's single-season record broken with 42, the number stamped all over black people. Slavery 42. Professional sports. Truly, a lot of people who were raised like cattle to participate in these leagues. Not much different than slavery. And, some people would say, well, they're getting paid a lot. I'm not sure that they're getting paid anything, honestly. Might all be a show. Is there any proof that any of these guys really have any money? I know that they live in nice homes and nice neighborhoods, and yeah, they're doing better than most people, but look, almost all of them are broke as soon as they're out of the league. How's that possible when you're getting paid $20, $30 million a year? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody can be that retarded. Nobody. So anyway, Chicago Fire. Talked about this earlier this year. Back in December 2nd, I was projecting all these things. Showing how this lined up with the NBA Finals. Chicago Fire 2-1-3, just like the NBA Finals. Today, June 1st, the day that leaves 213 days left in the year. We have LeBron, who's trying to pass the legacy of Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bull. We have the Golden State Warriors that beat the Bulls' winning record last year. There's some weird triangular relationship going on. Somebody called Phil Jackson in the triangle offense. You know? Go back and see my work, though. The videos I put out this year, we've been talking about this. Great Chicago Fire. Also, gematria of 135. We just saw the Cavs advance to the finals, winning their final game in the playoffs before the finals with 135 points. And as I said, March 30th, Interstate 85 fire. The night the Cavs and Bulls were playing again. Basketball equals 85. That fire came 63 days before today. Cavs has gematria 63. You know? To the 6 psychopaths, it might even be a tribute to NBA Jam. Who knows? Remember how they used to always scream the arcade game, "He's on fire!" But anyway, just want people to know what's up with all the rituals. If you think I'm crazy, again, go back and watch all that I've shown this year. Been talking about this all year, talked about it this morning again before this was even a news story. They call it Jewish lightning in Chicago for the millionth time, the Zionist Mecca. So as I showed this morning, the death of Stephen A. Smith's mother is no coincidence. This is the latest ritual sacrifice for the NBA Finals. The day before this news, he got this attention for, or I guess it was a couple days before this news, he's getting this attention for being 0-6 in his last 6 NBA Finals picks. And if he were to get it right this year, he'd be 1-6, a reflection of 6-1. His mother now just died on June 1st, 1/6 or 6/1. Remember, this season began in 16. 1-6 is kind of like 16. If you write out 16, it sums to 33, just like NBA Finals, just like Steven or Stephen if you're on the Warriors, or like LeBron or like James or like NBA Finals or like Bulls. Even the way they write Golden State on the screen sometimes, the way they abbreviate it, ST. Whole lot of 33. And about 16, remember this whole season's about pi. From game 1, the ritual has been connected to pi. We have Steph Curry with the pi birthday. He turned 29 years old on Pi Day this year. He scored 29 points in the game. I predicted he would before the game was played. People still want to doubt this work. Pi 29, Pi Day birthday, his 29th birthday, scores 29 points. I called it way before the game was played, and people want to say coincidence. You don't want to be one of those types of retards. I mean, that's what's wrong with this nation. Nation of fucking morons and losers and non-thinkers and just straight up idiots. You don't want to be like these people. Remember, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant combined for 74 points on Mother's Day with Steph Curry's mother, Sonia, in attendance. Kevin Durant joined the Warriors on July 4th, 7-4, exactly 314 days before scoring 74. Pi is 3.14. The whole language is based on pi. If you write out 22 divided by 7, it sums to 314, just like 3.14 for pi. If you divide 22 by 7, it's the shorthand to get to pi. A mathematician's shorthand to pi, which you learned about in geometry class, is 22 divided by 7, 3.14, coded right into your language. And watch what happens if you write 360, the number of degrees in a circle, which pi has to do with, 227, just like 22 divided by 7. So anyway, Stephen A. Smith, will he go 0-7, or is this all part of the clue that the Warriors are to win this year, making King James 3-5 all-time in the NBA Finals, now that the Warriors have number 35, Durant, who wears the number 35 because his high school coach died at age 35. And his high school coach was ritually sacrificed for his career. Because that's what has always been going on in this world in connection with rigged sports, rigged news, rigged elections, living under the Masonic dictatorship, the Zionist dictatorship. All right, now I'm going to try to go write my book again. Until next time.